outbreak of Ebola in West Africa, Nigeria inclusive, is the most severe recorded in terms of human cases and fatalities. But also the Ebola virus has indeed arrived in Nigeria with its own rumors and conspiracy theories. Last week, many Nigerians woke up to phone calls and social media messages informing them that the solution to Ebola is a saltwater drink and a saltwater bath. And a few weeks before that, it was also widely speculated that the bitter cola can prevent getting the Ebola virus. Of course, all these turned out to be untrue and unfortunately resulted in mass panic and an outpour of spurious claims of healing and cure. Today, Bridges will examine the Ebola epidemic, the attendant rumors, the spurious claims of cure, the impact on the psyche of the citizenry as we build a bridge to prevent and contain multifaceted epidemic. Welcome. This is Bridges, working for a sustainable Nigeria. I'm still Muchi Makonchola.
Bridges.
Our eminent panelists here today to speak on Ebola virus in Nigeria are, to my immediate right, Dr. Nasir Sani Gwarzo, MNI, the Director of Port Health Services of the Federal Ministry of Health. Sir, you're welcome. And we have also with us at the extreme left, Dr. Andrew Zamani, President of Nigeria Psychological Association. Sir, you're welcome on Bridges. Dr. Padin Joku, Chairman of NECO, is also here with us to give the perspective that we need to do in terms of messaging and what we need to and how best to put that in, maybe in our educational curriculum.
Sure.
Okay. He's also here with us. Also in the studio are our guests, learned members of our ever active audience. Ladies and gentlemen, you're all welcome on Bridges. It's very frightening, some of the statistics that you get, you know, from the WHO and of course around the world in terms of the fatality and, you know, the way this epidemic is, you know, getting people, you know, dying kind of. So let's start from the, in building the bridge. Dr. Sani, I'll come to you immediately. Give us, you know, a background of how these, you know, virus became so deadly, and we have to live with it.
Exactly. This virus, that's the Ebola virus, got its name from Ebola River in the Republic of Congo in the early mid-1970s as a result of an epidemic that got bridged from the animal species to the human species. It's a normal resident virus in bats. Doesn't cause disease, but sometimes when certain changes in the equilibrium of ecosystem change, you find normal residents behaving differently. So you see the bats dying. They now cause disease in primates, in ducas, antelopes, gazelles, etc. And then it also gets breached into the human population. And that is how the disease, the epidemic started. And there are 5 variants of the Ebola virus. Each of them named after the location where it is found. There's the Thai forest in West Africa. There is the Ebola in the Congo Zaire. There's the Sudan type in the South Sudan. And there's another called the Reston. The Reston is the one that does not cause disease in humans. Now the danger is it was an enzootic disease only in animals. Then it moved into the human and primate population and now into the human. It used to be a rural disease that occurs in communities that are in border, contiguous with forests. So you find the disease crossing over. But the unique thing about the current epidemic, it's now an urban disease.
So it
And
has
that's
migrated.
why, exactly, it's the worst epidemic ever recorded. And the Ebola virus is one of the most contagious viruses ever in the history of mankind that is causing epidemic. Now it is a human-to-human transmission. Before you find hunters getting the disease, people who prepare bushmeat, not necessarily those who eat it, but those who prepare. From the hunter that touches the blood, the bleeding animal, the one that cuts it into pieces, the woman that prepares that into cooking pots, they get the disease. But now it's human to human, and unfortunately, it appears to become evident when health workers get infected, because they're the first people to come in contact with a sick person, and as a result, you find that the first range of all the attenders, from doctors, nurses, cleaners, handlers who push the patient in a wheelchair, etc., all of them come down with the disease. And that's why it's a very dangerous disease.
Yeah, and they come down because you're just imagining, if I don't have contact with the blood, what else, how else can I spread the disease around?
There are several other ways. Like I said, it's contagious. It's been shown that any fomite touched or used by somebody with Ebola can become infectious. For example, if an Ebola patient bleeds and drops the blood or somewhere because they vomit, they also pass diarrhea, they also have bleeding tendencies under their skin, in their eye, in their sweat, in their urine, in their saliva. So whatever fomites they touch can readily transmit that disease.
So even at that point, the virus is still alive?
Yes, it's a very fragile virus, very weak. It does not survive too long outside the body. But when it survives inside a tissue, including blood stain, on a fomite, it can stay longer. So that's why even in death, even if somebody has died, the burial practices are extremely dangerous. Washing the dead body from the exudates and the secretions that come out of the dead body, and also from the water that drains out after washing a dead body. It infects whoever comes in contact with it. We have in history where a family of an Ebola victim lost additional 10 people as a result of the burial practices.
This is frightening, right? And I know that Dr. Paddy, you're very eager to come on. Let's have your take on this.
Yeah, it is frightening, but I think it is not yet apocalypse. What Dr. Guerzo has done is important. We need to let our people know that, one, it exists. Two, these are the ways you can contact them, the virus. But three, what should we do so that we contain it? We take care of those who are already contaminated in also a contained manner so that others don't get contaminated.
We'll come to treatment later.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that, there's so much panic in the air now.
That's it.
A lot of people think that if somebody breathes around you, you catch Ebola virus because
is that possible?
It's not airborne, but we should be a little careful because it can be aerosolized.
What does that mean? You break that down.
Somebody comes very close to you and has a very big bout of sneezing that contains a lot of fluid in it. It can transmit if it goes into direct contact. But ordinarily, it's a weak virus and it is not airborne. That is one of the good things. And another good thing is the virus, as it incubates, usually within 8 to 10 days people manifest, but we have extreme cases where people manifest within 2 days, and also another extreme where people manifest in 21 days. Now the beauty is, or the good thing is, at the beginning, before the manifestation of the disease as somebody getting sick, the virus is in the tissue, not in the blood.
Okay.
So as soon as it starts getting into the blood, which we call viremia, it now causes symptoms. And that is when somebody becomes infectious. So you could actually meet somebody who is in incubation, greet, shake hands, and you don't get the disease. But once the person starts having a fever, and that's why we're using fever as the initial marker.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. You were talking to the panic.
Yes, because I don't know whether you read, I think it was the Sun newspaper yesterday when they said a patient, a passenger that was to travel to Ghana, who had been checked in and all that, fell and died, and everybody took off. Yeah? Everybody ran. They said, oh, Ebola has killed. They checked the man, there was no Ebola. In fact, my daughter cracked a joke. She said maybe if the man was alive himself and had that people were running, he too would have run. So we've gotten into that frame of mind now. And it is absolutely necessary especially for us building bridges, to build a bridge of confidence. That look, this is a challenge. It's a national challenge.
It's an international.
It's good. It's an international one.
It's a global emergency.
It's a global challenge. How do we face it? Instead of looking at the side of, the world is coming to an end. As he said, and as I know, the virus has been there since 1976. It's been killing people, all right. It's never gone probably as viral as it's gone this time. It's been killing people in Democratic Republic Democratic du Congo, little by little. Then it started spreading. Other countries had their own strength. Oh yes, and I've witnessed it. I did a lot of things in that country.
How long ago was that? So that I can shake you from afar.
Continue. In fact, you don't shake alone. You can hug. that has been
Right,
decades
let's
ago.
hear from Dr. Zamani. Yes.
Let me say that the good thing about the Ebola virus.
Good thing.
The good thing about Ebola virus is that it gives us a new hope in Nigeria. This is because the response of government was unprecedented. It was spontaneous. And within 3 days, the entire world was mobilized to the extent that right now it has been declared by the United Nations
WHO.
a global emergency. I think we should celebrate our government.
Oh, really?
We should celebrate our government.
Certainly.
So it gives us hope. We can use the model from the Federal Ministry of Health to extend, leadership
and response to emergency.
to emergencies, but even to deal with critical national issues. Having said that, let me say that right now Nigeria is in shock. It is a nation in perplexity. From Boko Haram, from deadly crimes to Ebola, we are still grappling with these issues.
But it has affected our psyche.
Oh, sure, that's what I mean.
Okay.
It's in a shock. It's in perplexity. What are the implications? The implications are many. For the individual, there is a challenge for the adjustment of lifestyle. For the nation, we need to take a very critical look at environmental health management. We have also seen from what you said in your intro, the fact that the nation, maybe Nigerians, appear to be very gullible, highly suggestible people. Despite the day-by-day briefing by the Federal Minister for Health, by the Minister for Information, by the Director General of the Federal Information Center, Nigerians in their thousands, were still swayed by the social media rumor that you could drink salt.
I'll butt in there now. Yes, the rumors. I would want to say before we go on this short break that is it that we don't have enough health information circulating around for us to be so gullible as to
But I just said that despite all the information available to Nigerians, Nigerians still subscribe to that.
It's a shame.
It's a shame.
Yeah, we'll come back. We'll take a break now, and when we come, we go to our audience and let's speak more on Ebola. But try and wash your hands just now with soap and water when we return.
Bridges, 10 p.m. every Thursday on the network service of the NTA.
Welcome back. We are still on Bridges. We are looking at the impact of the Ebola epidemic on the psyche of Nigerians. And of course, our panelists have been able to, speak to these concern about particularly the gullible nature of Nigerians in considering some of the rumors that have begin to have negative impact on the health of Nigeria. So we quickly go to the audience. Who has the microphone? Yes, please. Yes, let's hear from you.
Okay, my name is Obinaya, a public affairs analyst. I'm a little concerned about proper information management with regard to Ebola. A lot has been done. Some level of proactivity has taken place. Information is spreading. However, the gullibility of Nigerians is a bit of a challenge, and it comes down to not seeking enough knowledge. And you can get all of that on the internet. You can read papers. You can actually sit down and
what happens to the men at the an illiterate that cannot read?
Yeah, we can. For instance, the Federal Ministry of Health now does some things on TV in local languages. That can happen. But some information here is even the way our people in authority communicate this information is a little bit of a challenge to some of us. Now, we have a psychologist on the panel. He will tell you that the way you hear about the two chaps in America, the way it's reported about those of them in Emory is different from the way we report it here. Ours just comes very hard on the people. We hear a doctor has died, a nurse has died, this other one has contracted. How it's communicated, the way they shape their mouth in telling us also matters. WHO has shown that it's not a death sentence per se. It's not 100% disaster. It's not an apocalypse like Dr. Paddy Njoka has said. It's just 55% as at August this year by the WHO bulletin. Meaning that if you catch this, like Dr. Wazo said, if you get it arrested early enough, people actually survive this disease, and in Liberia and so on, they survive it. The last thing I need to say is research. Uganda shows, before now, Uganda has shown the highest rate of deaths from this, but they got in touch with the Americans and some other international organizations to set up research institutes. They have several. As I speak, it used to take up to 24 hours to get it across to America. Now it takes just about 1 hour to get the result of the test in Uganda, and we can do that in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Yes, can we hear from you, sir? Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Moji. Distinguished panelists.
Let's know you.
My name is Dr. Nkem Moma. I'm a medical practitioner here in Abuja. I'm also founder of an ambulance service here in Abuja as well. I think the program Bridges speaks a lot for this issue concerning information bridging. There's need for us to bridge information between the populace and the government. A lot of people are misinformed. That has also informed the rumors and all that. If there's a robust public campaign about how you can catch Ebola, people will not be as afraid of this virus as it is. Because as far as I know, like Dr. Wazo said, you can't catch it from being near someone. Once you touch the contaminants, you can then get infected. So if you know that you can't catch it by being near someone, you wouldn't be afraid. So there's a lot of public campaigns needed for that. And also, I think government too has to be in the forefront of research efforts, because I think that will go a long way in bringing confidence to those of us here that if you get infected, there's also effort to also get cure for it as well.
So, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Joyce Zonwe, an event consultant. Basically, I think the reason why most Nigerians are gullible to this misinformation on the social media is that I think Nigerians are more concerned on ways of preventing, ways of catching this thing, as in, what do I do so that eventually if I come in contact with someone who is already infected, I don't also get infected. And I think that's the reason why people were, started bathing with salt and drinking salt. I don't want to catch it. And that's what it's not that they don't know, ways of catching it. Basically, how is it that I shouldn't catch it?
There's a contradiction there. Yeah. So people don't want to die from Ebola, so they will use anything anything possible to do it. So we need, to bridge that misinformation.
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
Yeah, excuse me,
yes,
but people
yes.
died anyway.
Okay.
Those who ingested saltwater solution, many of them have died. We don't have the exact figures because most of our public hospitals are shut down. But people have died. Many women have had miscarriages. So the problem is not Ebola per se, the problem is behavior.
Yes, and I learned it was even a joke. So someone cracked, a lady said, that's what I learned, but we need to confirm it. That someone was just cracking a joke with a friend, and she said, okay, you have a cure. Me too, I have a cure. I feel salt could do it. And then before you know it, everywhere.
Okay, it went viral.
Yes,
all right, sir.
It didn't go viral, it went salty.
It went salty. Okay.
It goes all over in the water.
Yes.
Good to be here again. My name is James Komolafe. I teach and equip people on discoverystyle.org. Now my question is, if I may give a hint, last week I just woke up suddenly to read one of my messages on the media, and it is on the social media, and it is saying, make sure before you go out, drink salt, bath with salt, and do that for every member of your family. So I now began to wonder. It's true, Ebola virus is so contagious, but beside just getting the information, I think like all we've been saying, which I would also like to pose to our panelists the question, because just to wake up and drink salt, I consider that as a straight application to death without no passport or visa. So what do we do? Since every Tom, Dick, and Harry knows the fact that once you contact it, it can possibly lead to death, although it's not 100% leading absolutely to death. Because of what we do out there, how do we tell the people and inform them the simple ABC step to take so as to demystify the fatality of this virus?
I'll quickly like Dr. Guarzo to take that on because our time is
because
running.
some of the things we do have to do with
Thank you
making
very much,
correct.
yes.
Let me start by saying this is a normal reaction that we see with intense situations. When you have a very intense, the people, it puts them off their balance, psychological balance. This is the panic reaction that is expected. And the ministry, way ahead of the response, put in place a mechanism that has never been done in the past. The minister giving a press briefing every day or a press release every day. There is no 24 hour that passes without giving information out. We hired radio, television, social media, we have consultants, information is out. We have information outlets, we have hotline numbers. We've been receiving real-time reports of events that are not even Ebola but helpful to us because our numbers are out there. Now, why are we doing this? Is to manage the panic. It's important to bring people out a bit to understand the gravity of the situation, but equally important to balance it with removal of fear and panic so that people can act rationally. Now, in so doing, it's gratifying to know that, like he said, in the past, the mortality was 9 out of 10. Now, we've seen where it is 5 out of 10. The good thing in Nigeria is it is even lower, much, much lower than that. We're talking about 28% mortality up till now in Nigeria. Now, where lies the hope? One of the international consultants that came to support Nigeria called me yesterday morning on phone as early as 7 a.m. We were chatting on the way forward for the day. He said, Sani, I think Nigeria is lucky.
I'll take it from you.
I said, what did you say?
I think Nigeria is lucky. I'll take that from you. I know that this is one topic that will go on, and we usually observe democracy here. Do we continue with the conversation? Yes. Okay, so I think we'll continue with the conversation. But that says, stay tuned on Bridges. Same time next week, we'll be back. More on Ebola. Thank you for watching.